Hi, Liz. Good morning, Liz. Hey, Liz, grab a yoga block if you've got one handy. We're gonna be a little low key today. We're just gonna make sure we're taking good care of our nervous system today. So, all right. So we're gonna come to a seated position, but we're gonna sit on our butt with our legs just out in front of us to a place where you could catch hold of your knees and kind of curl in on yourself a little bit. So find a good position. Legs can be wide, legs can be close, really whatever feels solid for you. And then just kind of wrap your hands around in a way that feels nice. Let your belly and chest find a good, happy place so you can breathe comfortably here. And then just invite some softness into the back of your neck, little softness into your shoulders. So if it feels like your shoulders are hiked way up towards your ears, see if you can just let your shoulders sort of drop down. And then eyes closed or open, that's totally up to you. But if you can relax the frown in your forehead, soften your cheeks, soften your temples. And as you start to find this settling in here, see if you can just allow the breath to take its time to come in a little slower and let your exhale go out a little slower. And then shift your focus away from your breath for a moment and just notice your feet touching the floor. Maybe even give your toes a little wiggle so you can kind of get a sense or feel that solidness of the floor underneath you. And maybe feel that solidness of the floor underneath your butt as well. And then with that sense of that solid foundation underneath you, maybe offer up just a little bit of gratitude for the safe space that you have to work in. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Nice. And then with that intention set, start to lift up gently. Just walk your hands up, lift your torso up just a little bit so you come into a little bit more of an upright seated position. Hold on to your knees or hold on to your shins, just whatever handhold works good, but so that you have this nice tall spine available. And then as you inhale, just lift your chin up towards the sky. And as you exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest and just try to find that nice tall spine even as you tuck your chin down. Inhale as you lift your chin up. Exhale as you tuck your chin down and take a few more cycles of breath here and just find a nice rhythm that feels good to you. You can pause along the way if there's any places that want a little extra attention. And then the next time your chin lifts up, stay there for an extra cycle of breath, just feeling a nice gentle stretch through the front of the neck and the throat. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest. Stay there for an extra cycle of breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, lift your head up. And now we're going to start to find a little bit of cat cow here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. So you want to curl the tailbone under so you can lean back a little bit. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin. Exhale to round your back. Take a few more cycles of breath here. And again, just find your breath's rhythm. Find a pace and a depth of work that feels good to you. Beautiful. Take one more cycle of breath. And then we're going to switch our hand hold so that we can find the sides of the thighs. And we're going to kind of push the thighs into the hands a little bit and the hands into the thighs. So we're going to create a little bit of solidness in the legs. And then once you feel like you've got it, we're going to take it into a halfway roll back. So we're going to push the thighs into the hands, hands into the thighs, curl your tailbone under, roll back to the point where you feel your abdominal muscles kick on, and then lift up gently, lift your chest, reach up through the crown of your head. And then we'll do that again. Push your thighs into your hands, hands into your thighs, roll back to that halfway point, feel your abdominal muscles kick on, and then lift yourself right back up, reach up through the crown of your head. Beautiful. One more just like that. Push in and push out with the legs, roll back, feel those abdominal muscles kick on, lift back up, reach up through the crown of the head, and then we're going to find our way down to the ground. So readjust anything that you need to, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, gently roll your way down to the ground, and then once you've found your way down, pause just for a second. Give your spine a moment. Let your clothes get fixed up, let your hair get in a nice place. And then we're going to walk the feet a little closer to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart, heels nice and close to your bum. Hands down alongside your hips, palms pressing into the earth. And from here, we're just going to press the arms into the earth and then release. So press your palms, press the backs of your arms, press your shoulder heads down. You might feel a little bit of an active lift of the chest, and then release all of that. And then we'll do that again. Press your palms, press your arms, press your shoulder heads into the earth. And then release. And do that one more time. Press your palms, press the backs of the arms, press the shoulders into the earth. And then release. Awesome. And then move into a pelvic tilt from here. So as you exhale, press your low back into the ground. Inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Exhale as you press down. Inhale to release, and then take a few more pelvic tilts here, just moving with your breath's rhythm and moving at a depth that feels good. So sometimes it feels good to pause in a place and hold for a moment. So if you find that nice little muscle activation feels nice to you, maybe you take a pause, but if it feels good to be a little bit more fluid, do a variation that feels nice. Take 2 more cycles of breath. And then once you've completed those cycles of breath, find the natural curve of your back. Inhale, raise your arms all the way up and overhead. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back down alongside the hips. So palms are going to stay facing down, which means when you're reaching up and overhead, the palms are going to be facing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands back down alongside the hips. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands down alongside the hips. Now we're going to slide the hands out about 45 degrees and then flip the palms. So now we're going to move our arms into that anatomical position and then toe heel your feet out to a nice comfortable distance. And we're going to move into some gentle windshield wipers. So start with your windshield wipers super small, super subtle, barely even letting those knees reach down towards the ground. Allow a little bit of time here. Notice how your feet feel, and then just kind of notice that little shift or exchange. As you rock the knees in that smaller range of motion side to side, you come to the blade edge of your foot and the instep of your foot. So just notice that bit of movement in your feet. And then just make sure you have that good footing, or rearrange your feet if you're not wide enough, and then start to increase your range of motion, slowly allowing the knees to drop a little bit further. And then as you increase that range of motion, notice your hips, notice your low back, and notice your abdominal muscles, which might kick on to help bring the knees gently side to side. Lovely. Take one more time each side. And then bring it to a stillness. Let the knees drop in towards each other. So just pausing in a constructive rest. Let your hands find your belly. Take a nice full inhale, fill your lungs up, let your belly inflate. Exhale, nice and slow. Inhale a nice full breath, let your belly inflate. Exhale, nice and slow. One more cycle of breath here. Inhale, fill your lungs up, let your belly inflate. Exhale, nice and slow. And now we're going to bring our arms into cactus arms or goalpost arms. So arms out from the shoulders in a 90-degree bend, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Take a second to just kind of let your shoulder blades snuggle into place. And then once you feel like you're there, start to rock your head gently side to side. Here's a lovely place to close your eyes down if it feels available, so that you can just tune into sensation. Notice that gentle massaging in the back of the head, the nice gentle movement in your neck. And then take a moment to listen in. Notice if you hear any subtle sounds. You might hear the sound of your hair rustling, the sound of your clothes, the sound of your breath. The next time your head turns to the right, turn it as far as your body will allow. Pause there for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, bring your head to center. Turn your head to the left. Turn it as far as your body will allow. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, bring your head back to center, and then we're going to bring our arms into our I Dream of Genie arms, or that nice square across the chest. Start by just gently pulling the elbows side to side. And then once you've got that pulling side to side motion down, we're going to move it up and down. So as you pull side to side, you're going to move up toward your forehead. And then as you pull side to side, you're going to move down towards your belly button. Pull side to side, move up towards your forehead. Pull side to side, move down toward your belly button. Beautiful. One more just like that. Pull side to side, move up toward your forehead. Pull side to side, move down towards your belly button, and then bring it back to center to that more neutral position. And now we're going to slide the hands in, going a little bit further, giving yourself a little hug. So we're going to catch hold of the shoulders. Elbows are stacked. From here, we're just going to give ourselves a little squeeze. So get a nice little handhold, squeeze in just a little bit, and then release. Squeeze in just a little bit and release. Do that one more time. Squeeze just a little bit and release. And then inhale, lift your elbows up towards your face, keeping the elbows stacked, keeping that little hug position. Exhale, elbows draw down towards the belly button. Inhale, elbows lift up. Exhale, elbows pull down. One more just like that. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, elbows pull down. And now we're going to release our hug and then just switch the cross in our arms. So come back to your hug, but just bring the other hand on top. Once you've got that little handhold, give yourself a little squeeze and release. A little squeeze and release. One more just like that. A little squeeze and release, and then move to the elbows up and down. Inhale, lift the elbows up towards your face. Exhale to draw the elbows down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. One more time through. Inhale as you lift. Exhale to lower. Release your arms back to cactus arms. We're going to turn the head side to side, move the knees side to side. So windshield wiper your knees, turn your head in the opposite direction. We're just going to take a few times here just to bring a little bit of that fluid movement back into the body. Awesome. One more time each side, or even yourself out. And then as everything comes back to center, we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer. Bring your hands down alongside your hips. We're going to take 3 bridges here. We're just going to lift up and lower back down. So inhale, lift your butt up just as high as feels good. Exhale, lower your butt back down to the ground. Inhale and lift your butt up. Exhale to lower down. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to lower down. We're going to pull both knees up into the chest, either holding onto your knees or your shins, but we want a handhold that can be firm so our arms can be kind of strong. So you're going to get a firm handhold, push your knees into your hands, pushing your knees up towards the ceiling, and your hands are going to resist. So you might feel your quadriceps fire up. You might feel your low back fire up. You might feel your glutes fire up just a little bit. Take one more breath here, pushing your knees into your hands. And then on your next exhale, soften, gently draw the knees into just a comfortable squeeze. And then we're going to do that again. Push your knees into your hands. Keep actively pushing up as your hands resist. One more moment. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, soften, gently draw it in. One more time, just like that. Push your knees into your hands. Hands are going to resist. Nice active position. Notice your quads, notice your back, notice your arms doing a little bit of work. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, soften, gently draw the legs in. And now we're going to move into wind relieving pose. So you're going to hold onto your right knee, let your left leg go nice and long. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you hug your left knee in towards your chest. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you squeeze. Inhale to switch. Exhale to squeeze. Take 2 more times each side, just finding your own pace. And then the next time you pull your right knee into your chest, hold onto your right knee, let your left leg go all the way down to the end of your mat. We're going to take that right knee, draw it in some circles, go in one direction. Draw the knee in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then we're going to take that right knee out nice and wide. So out towards the right shoulder, out around the ribs, get a little opening in the hip, circle your right foot, go in one direction. Circle your right foot, go the other way. Beautiful. And then we're going to take it over towards the left shoulder 3 times, but with just a little bit of a fluid movement. So gently draw it towards your left shoulder and then release back to center. Gently draw it towards your left shoulder and bring it back to center. One more just like that. Gently draw it towards your shoulder, bring it back to center. And now we're going to switch. Pull the left knee in, let your right leg go nice and long. Once your foot touches the ground, draw that left knee in circles, go in one direction. Draw your left knee in circles, go the other way. Awesome. Take that left knee out nice and wide towards the left shoulder. Circle your left foot in one direction. Circle your left foot the other way. Beautiful. And then 3 times across towards that right shoulder. So just slightly across the midline. Bring it across, release it back to center. Bring it across, release it back to center. One more just like that. Bring it across, release it back to center. And now we're going to pull both knees up into the chest, give one last little squeeze, and then release your legs into a little tabletop position or reverse tabletop. And then for the SI, we're going to take the left hand to the top of the knee, right hand behind the back of the thigh. So opposite push pull. You're going to push your left knee into your hand as your hand resists. Push your right thigh down into your hand as your hand resists. Keep that action, opposite push pull. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, release, switch to the other side. Right hand on top, left hand on bottom. Get that opposite push pull. Keep that active pushing and pulling position. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, release both hands behind the thighs. And we're going to start to find a little rock and roll. Take your time as you rock and roll. Tailbone to top of head. Take a few good rolls here, only if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, just come right up to a seated position. But if it feels comfortable to do so, start to take a little bit of momentum and then come all the way up so that we can find an easy seat position. So crisscross your legs as you come up and then give a second to kind of wiggle into your sits bones, find that nice tall seated position. We're going to move right into a seated twist. So left hand's going to reach towards the right knee, right hand behind you. And then in this position, rather than reaching up through the crown of your head and getting really super active here, can you soften into this twist? Can you close your eyes down and just notice your breath here? Take a nice, full, generous inhale. Nice slow exhale. 2 more cycles of breath, but with each exhale, can you let your shoulders get soft and heavy? Nice. And then when you're ready, release that twist. Take it all the way over to the other side. Find that nice twist, but then see if you can soften into it. And then with each exhale, can you let your shoulders just get a little softer? Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release back to center. Take 3 seated cat-cows here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale to round your back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. One more cycle of breath here. And then find that nice neutral spine. We're going to take the right arm, bring it across the body, catch hold of the back of the arm, drop your shoulder down just a little bit so your shoulder's a little bit away from your ear. Take 3 nods of the head up and down here. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, tuck down. One more breath here. As your head finds a neutral position, release your right arm and then take a second, kind of wriggle out your shoulders, and we'll do that to the other side. So bring your left arm across the body, catch hold of the back of the arm, drop that shoulder down so there's space between the shoulder and your ear. And then once you're ready, inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to tuck down. One more cycle of breath. Beautiful. And then as your head comes to neutral position, release both hands behind the back with nice tall fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest, lift the chin. Take a nice full breath. Awesome. And then we're going to take this into an easy seated forward fold. So soften that position, bring your hands in front of you, walk yourself out just to a depth that feels good. So once you hit a point where you feel sensation, maybe the outer edges of your hip or maybe your low back might be where you feel it first. Then once you feel any sensation, pause. Take a nice full breath. Notice your knees, notice your ankles, notice your feet. If it feels available, inhale and lift through the front of the body. So think about pulling up through the front of your body just to create a little bit more space. And then as you exhale, can you soften just a little bit further into that fold? Beautiful. Take one more breath. And then pull your abdominal muscles in, pull the ribs back. Think about rolling up through the spine, roll your shoulders all the way up to your ears, roll them around down and back. And we're going to do that 2 more times with the shoulders. Inhale, shoulders lift up to the ears. Exhale, roll them around down and back. And then do that 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale and roll them down and back. Beautiful. Now we're going to find our way into a tabletop position. So if you like, from here, you can just flippity do your way up or come up into your tabletop in any way that works good for you. And then take a second to just make sure everything is situated nicely. Double stack your mat if you need to cushion your knees. Make your little roll so you can cushion your wrists, anything that feels good to you here. And then in your tabletop position, we're going to pause. So spread your fingers nice and wide, index fingers pointing to the top of the mat. Knees in line with hips. So we're going to gaze down at our knees and look down at your feet. So if your toes are kind of pulled in towards each other, if you can see your toes and your feet, swing them out so that your feet are in line with your knees. Nice. And then once you found your way here, just this nice little sort of active position of just drawing the front of your body up a little bit. So think about pulling the abdominal muscles up towards the spine. Think about pulling the chest up just a little bit, almost as if you're trying to wrap yourself up nice and tight in that center. Broaden your shoulders just a little bit, and then notice your head. So if your head's dangling down because you were looking at your knees, lift your head back up to that neutral position and reach the crown of your head towards the top of your mat. Take a nice full conscious breath here. Feel that breath in your body. Nice slow breath out. Just take 2 more cycles of breath here in this nice solid stance. Beautiful. And then we're going to move into C-spine. So we're going to hug right shoulder towards right hip, squeeze in at the side body, maybe look over your shoulder, and then take it over to the other side, hugging the left shoulder towards the left hip and looking over that shoulder. And just take a few more times each side just to move your spine in that different direction. Nice. Take one more time each side or even yourself out. And then as you come back to center, slide your left leg back, toes curled under, take 3 gentle rocks forward and back just to bring a little length into the back of the leg. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slide that leg in, switch to the other side. Left leg slides back, toes curled under, take about 3 rocks forward and back. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slide that leg in. We're moving right into puppy pose. So we're going to keep our hips fairly in line with the knees. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat, and then just as wide a position with your arms as feels right to you. So for some of us, it might feel good to have the arms closer to the ears. And for some of us, it might feel better to have our arms a little bit wider towards the outer edges of the mat. So just make sure that there's plenty of space for your shoulder blades. Let your chest soften down. If it's available, let your forehead touch down to the ground, and take 3 nice deep breaths here. When you feel ready, slowly lift your forehead up away from the ground. We're going to slide the elbows in so that we can move our way down into a Sphinx position. So slide your elbows and forearms in so that your elbows are in line with the shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Step your feet towards the back end of your mat and find your way into a nice low plank. Pause in your plank just for 1 cycle of breath. And then when you're ready, bring your knees down to the ground, moving right into your Sphinx position. Release your toes. Let your hip points find the ground. Lift your heart forward, squeeze between the shoulder blades, press up through the crown of your head. And then from here, if it feels good, keeping that nice active position, bring your heels up. So we're going to bend the knees and just kind of get a little squeeze in the hamstring muscles. Flex your feet. So you want to feel like you're drawing your heels towards your butt, but the heart is still lifting. The crown of the head is still lifting. Take 1 more breath. Beautiful. And then relax your feet back down to the ground. We're going to walk the elbows out nice and wide so that we can lower onto the belly, and then just stack your hands here. Let your forehead rest on your hands, and then absolutely nothing to do here except for to breathe. Tune in and just notice that little bit of the compression of the floor against your belly as you breathe in. Nice full deep breath. Nice slow breath out. Two more cycles of breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slowly start to lift your head away from your hands. Slide your hands in so that they're alongside the shoulders. We're going to push our way up into a tabletop position. Bring the big toes together, bring the knees together. We're going to move back to a child's pose. So draw your butt back to your heels. Think about that frontward lift. So we want to lift through the front of the body just to create a little space, and then soften your belly and chest on your thighs. Slide your hands back if you can, and let your hands touch the soles of your feet. So for some of us, this position can be very compressing. So we just want to, we're not going to stay here too terribly long, but just notice that compression. Notice the compression of your belly against your thighs, and give this as an opportunity to notice the breath in the back of your body and the side of your body. So if you can, just tune in and notice. Take a big giant inhale, feel the breath in your ribs, your shoulder blades, maybe even in your armpits. Take one more breath. Awesome. And then we're just going to pull the abdominal muscles in. If it's available, you're going to roll yourself on up so that you're sitting up on your heels. But if this seated position doesn't work for you, readjust. We're going to take a couple of bellows breaths. So we just want to have access so that we can reach our hands up. Bellows breath, inhale and exhale are the same length or the same intensity. So our inhale and our exhale are both the same length. So we're going to reach up and grab hands. And then as we exhale, pull down, and your elbows are going to kind of tap into your ribs. We're going to take it slow, and we're going to take 10 cycles of breath. So inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more to go. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then float yourself forward into a tabletop position. Move your knees so they're back in line with the hips. Come back to that stable position of your table. Take a nice big conscious breath. You might notice there's a little bit more energy running through your body now. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, curl your toes under, start to lift yourself up into a downward facing dog, and see if you can keep it kind of soft here. So soften your knees, play around just a little bit, soften your shoulders, maybe even soften your hands, move your hips, move your knees, move your shoulders, maybe wiggle your head just a little bit. Just take a moment to kind of explore. How in control of this position are you? Can you move your body pretty freely here? Take 1 or 2 more moments to play. And then when you're ready, press your heels down towards the ground, melt your heart towards your thighs. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. Soften your knees, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a folded ragdoll at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, rearrange your clothes so everything feels comfy, and then just find a nice little dangle here. Grab your elbows, soften your knees, let your head hang nice and heavy. Come back to your breath here. Take a nice full inhale. Feel that nice little buoyant lift that comes with the inhale, and then soften with your exhale. Take 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, relax your fingers towards the ground, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, slow and controlled. Start to find your way up to a standing position. Take your time as you come up. And then once you come up to that standing position, without rearranging anything, close your eyes down and just kind of notice. Notice the energy in your body. Notice your breath. Nice. And then rearrange your clothes if you need to, but we're going to take it right into a bounce. So step your feet to about hip or shoulder distance apart, something that feels good and solid on the ground. And then we're going to just start to pop the heels. So we're just going to find a nice gentle bounce and allow that bounce to kind of find its way into your whole body. So let your arms be soft and loose. Let your legs be as soft and loose as they can with that extra bit of effort to create that bounce. Let your abdominal muscles be soft and loose. Your chest is soft and loose. Your shoulders are soft and loose. If you can, listen in for a moment. Notice that little bit of vibration that comes into the breath when you bounce. You might feel a little bit of heat or fire in your calves. So calves and the ankles are really working hard here to make this bounce happen. Take 1 more gentle bounce and then let it all come to stillness. Close your eyes down, take a nice full breath in. Nice slow breath out. With your eyes closed, if you can, we're just going to rearrange our feet. So we're going to lift the toes, spread the toes as wide as you can, and then see if you can step your feet so that they're about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. And then once you feel like you've got your feet nice and even on the ground, we're going to lower the toes, look down at your feet, and then just see, did you arrange your feet so that they're both lined up to the best of your body's ability? And if so, keep them as they are. And if they need to be rearranged, take a second to do that. And then anchor into your feet, reach up through the crown of your head, reach down through your fingers. So find that nice opposite, pushing into the earth, but also reaching up towards the sky. Take one more moment here just to find that nice active reaching. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing, roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing, roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing. We're going to swim the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down towards the heels, squeeze between the shoulder blades, lift the chest, lift your chin, take a nice full breath. Nice, and then soften your position just a little bit, bend your knees. We're gonna hinge from the waist, fold over, let your arms fall away, but just let them fall where they freely go. So without the use of a yoga strap, just notice where your range of motion is here. Take one more breath. Relax your hands toward your low back, bend your knees, lift from the top of your head, let your heart follow, come up nice and slow, unlace your fingers, and then find your way back into your mountain pose. Anchor into your feet, lift up through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you, whatever feels better. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. We're going to step both feet back to downward facing dog. Take one breath in downward facing dog, and then when you're ready, pick up your heels, lower your knees, come right into a tabletop position. We're going to kick the right leg out, swing your left toes over to the right side. So cow face prep pose, take that right knee behind the left, and then pull your butt back to your heels. Just one breath here. Lift yourself back up, unwind your legs, curl your toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Pick up your heels, lower your knees, come back to your tabletop position. Now we're going to extend the left leg out, swing your right toes over to the left side of your mat, tuck your left knee behind the right, pull your butt back towards your heels. One breath here. Beautiful. Come forward, unwind your legs, curl your toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Now bring it forward into a plank position. So bring your shoulders in line with your wrists, readjust your feet as needed, pause in your plank, nice and strong. And then when you're ready, bring your knees down to the ground, gently release all the way down onto your belly. Once you find your way down, take a second, wiggle out your bum, shimmy out your shoulders. We're going to take it into intense shoulder stretch. So right hand's going to reach out straight from the shoulder, roll over onto your right hip just a little bit as you press into your left hand. This might be enough. So if this is enough, stay right here just like that. But if it feels great and you want just a little bit more, roll a little further onto that right hip, step your left foot behind you, and we're going to take 3 cycles of breath here. So let your head relax. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly bring it back onto your belly. Take your time as you come back in. Slide that right hand in. Give your shoulders a little shimmy shake. Let go of anything you may have come across. Then we're going to take it to the other side. So left hand's going to extend out straight from your shoulder. Roll slightly onto your left hip. Push into your left hand. That might be enough for you. If it feels good, but you want more, roll onto your left hip. Step your right foot behind you. Let your head relax and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, nice and easy, bring it back in, roll onto your belly, slide that left hand in, give your shoulders a little shimmy shake. Make sure you let go of anything you may have come across. Push your way up into a tabletop position. We're going to take 1 cat-cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, neutral spine, curl your toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Take a second to come back to your mountain pose, anchor into your feet. And then once you feel like you're there, inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. So a gentle back bend. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back. We're going to take it into a runner's lunge. So just bringing it so that your heart can come forward, look forward, take one good breath, and then bring that back knee down. We're going to release the back toes, take one half splits here. Pull your hips back, peel the front toes up. Beautiful. Rock yourself forward, curl the back toes under, pick that back knee up, come back to that runner's lunge. And then we're going to do that 2 more times. Bring the knee down, release your toes, pull back to half splits, rock forward, curl the toes under, lift your knee, lift your chest. Lovely. 1 more time. Bring the knee down, release the toes, pull back, rock forward, curl the back toes under, lift the knee, lift your chest. Beautiful. Plant your palms, step back to a plank. Pause in your plank for a moment. Broaden your shoulders. Think about drawing the front body up nice and strong. Gaze down at the floor. Take one good breath. Beautiful. Bring your knees down. Release your toes. Lower gently onto your belly. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your heels side to side. Nice. 1 more swish of those heels side to side. And then relax your toes down to the ground. 1 nice little low cobra. Inhale, lift your heart just a little bit. Exhale, soften down. Push your way up into a tabletop position. Curl your toes under. Exhale, up to downward facing dog. Look forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Beautiful. Runner's lunge. Step that left leg back. Knees lifted, heart forward, look forward. Nice. And then when you're ready, release your back knee, release your toes, pull back to the half splits. Rock yourself forward, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, find your runner's lunge, gaze forward, take a breath. Bring that back knee down, release the toes, pull back, find your half splits. Rock forward, curl the toes under, lift your knee, lift your gaze. Beautiful. 1 more just like that. Knee down, release your toes, pull back. Rock forward, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Beautiful. Plant your palms, step back to plank, pause in your plank. Nice. Bring your knees down, gently release down onto your belly. Once you're there, bend your knees, swish your heels side to side. Beautiful. 1 more swish of the knees side to side. And then we're just going to take a little quad stretch here. So can you reach your right hand back, hold onto your right foot, let your left toes go down to the ground, hug your heel in towards your butt or slightly to the outside of the right hip. So you're kind of reaching your right heel towards your side glute. So whatever space feels comfortable, just make sure your knee feels happy about it. Take 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, release that foot. We're going to switch to the other side. Bend your left knee, hug your heel in towards your butt. If it's available, reach back, catch hold of that foot, squeeze it in towards your butt or slightly to the outside of the glute. Nice. And then when you're ready, release that foot with control. Curl your toes under, push your way up into a tabletop position. Exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. We're going to roll down into our little ball of yarn. So bend your knees, pick up your heels, roll yourself down gently. Tuck your chin into your chest. So get that nice big rounding of your back. Take a nice full breath in. Feel the breath in the back of your body. Beautiful. And then gently lift your head up. We're going to start to find our way back down to the ground. So if you have your yoga block, just have it somewhere handy that you'll be able to access it as we come down onto the ground. But set your butt down, roll your way down to the ground. And then when you're ready, take a second to just get yourself situated. Fix your clothes, fix your hair, make sure everything feels like it's in a good position. With our yoga block, we're going to take it. So if you're using a book, a sturdy book, you're just going to make sure that it's on the flattest setting. If you're using your yoga block, you're going to set it on the lowest setting. We're going to lift the hips up and slide your block or your book underneath your tailbone, underneath your butt. Give a second to let it find its way. And then we're going to locate our front hip points. So we want to find those little protruding hip bones or just get an idea of where they are in your space of your body. And then once you kind of have a sense of where those protruding hip bones are, we're going to start to take some alternating knee lifts. So take your right knee and just lift it up. And just keep this natural for a moment and just kind of tune in and notice. Lift your left knee up and lower it down. So without doing anything super active, just kind of notice your hip bones. Are your hip bones moving as you lift your knee up? Is there a little wiggle in the hips? No right or wrong. We just want to kind of notice if there's a little wiggle going on. And then if so, we're going to start to see if we can hone in just a little bit and keep the hips as stable as possible. So set both feet back down on the ground, locate those hip points, and then we're going to try to keep those hip bones as steady as possible. So we're going to slow our knee lifts down just a little bit. Inhale, lift your right knee up and try to keep your hip bones as stable as you can underneath your hands. And then exhale, lower your right foot back down to the ground. Keep the hip bones stable. Inhale, lift your left knee up. Keep your hip points as stable as you can. Exhale, lower it down. Keep your hip points stable. Back to that right knee. Inhale, lift up. Keep your hip points stable. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift your left knee up. Keep your hip bones stable. Exhale to lower it back down. Beautiful. One more time each side. We're going to keep those hip bones as stable as we can. Inhale, lift your right knee up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, lift your left knee up. Exhale to lower down. And then just assuming that the block or your book is safe and comfortable underneath, see how it feels to lift both knees up away from the ground. And then if that feels safe and comfortable, the block or book feels good underneath your butt, relax your hands down onto the ground, and we're just going to kind of float the feet up towards the ceiling. So keep a super generous bend in the knees. No, nothing fancy going on with the feet. Just allow your feet to be kind of free and soft. Knees are free and soft. Make sure this feels like a comfortable position. If it's not, set your feet down, move the block out from underneath you. But if it feels okay to be here, let your shoulders and your chest be nice and soft for a moment. And then just tune back into your breath. Take a nice full inhale. Nice slow exhale. 2 more cycles of breath. Beautiful. Now from here, as we release, we're going to pull the right knee in towards the chest and the left leg is going to extend nice and long. So again, we want to just make sure that that block feels good underneath you. If at any point this doesn't feel like the place for you to be, move the block. You can still get plenty of work without that block underneath you. Once you've got that right knee pulled into your chest, left leg is extended long, take 1 good breath. And then if it feels good, left arm is just going to reach up and overhead right alongside your ear, a little energetic reach through the fingers down towards that left foot. And then when you're ready, release your left foot down. And now we're going to switch sides. So we're going to pull the left knee into the chest, get your hand hold, send your right leg nice and long. And again, make sure that that block feels good underneath you. If it doesn't, take it out and just do the work without the block. Awesome. And then if it feels good to do so, we're going to take that right hand, reach it up alongside your ear, find that energetic reach from your fingers down to your foot. Beautiful. And then release your right hand, slide that right leg in. We're going to pull both knees in just a little bit, just to a point that feels safe and comfortable. Take 1 good breath. And then when you're ready, release your feet down to the ground, pause in your supported bridge. So that book or that block, if it's still underneath you, pause there. If it's not underneath you, lift your hips up into a bridge position. Without the book or the block, it's just going to be a little bit more active. So the muscles are going to be engaged. If the block is underneath you, soften your belly, soften the tops of your thighs, soften your shoulder heads. Take one more breath. And then if that block is underneath you, push into your feet, lift your hips a little higher, move the block out from underneath you, slow and controlled, roll your way back down to the ground. Once your body hits down, take a pause, take a nice full breath. Awesome. And then we're going to take the right leg across the left into a figure 4 position. We're going to do 3 hands free, and then we're going to take it into a little twist. So inhale, lift your left leg up just as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, lower your foot back down to the ground. Inhale and lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more just like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale to lower down. And then just make sure your props are a little bit out of your way. If you've got anything alongside you, we're going to take the knees over to the right. So right leg is across the left. We're going to take the knees over to the right. But if keeping that foot hooked on the knee doesn't feel good to your knee or to your hip, you're going to unstack it and just let the knees drop down to your side in a way that feels right to you. Once you've got your knees down over to the right, we're going to take the left hand and take a little side bend. So think C-spine. We're going to reach that left hand towards the left heel as your right hand reaches up towards the top corner of your mat. So you're going to get that little squeeze in the side body as you're reaching your left hand towards your left heel. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. Release your C-spine or bring your arms back out from your shoulders and then lift the right leg up. Now we're going to bring your legs back to that figure 4 in center. Now lift your left leg up, thread your hands through, grab hold of the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, draw it into a comfort level that feels right to you and take one nice full cycle of breath. Big giant inhale. Nice slow exhale. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release. Unwind your figure 4 and then take it to the other side. Bring the left leg across the right, hands free to start. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale to lower your right foot back down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Beautiful. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to lower down. And now we're going to take that figure 4 twist over to the other side. So you're going to keep your left leg across, drop your knees over to the left. If keeping the foot stacked is no good for your knee or your hip, release that stacked foot, but just let the knees drop over to the left. Once you've got your knees down to the left, arms out nice and wide, back to that C-spine. So right hand's going to reach towards the right heel. We're hugging in at the right side body, reaching down towards the heel. Left hand reaches up towards the top of the mat. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. And then release that C-spine. Bring those knees back up. Keep the figure 4, lift your right leg up, and now go a little further. Thread your hands through. Grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, just whatever grab works best for you. Hug it into a comfort level that feels right. Take a nice full inhale. Nice slow exhale. Awesome. And then when you're ready, release your feet back down to the ground, uncross your left leg, toe heel your feet to the outer edges of your mat, come back to constructive rest. Let your knees drop in towards each other, and then just take a moment to assess. Notice how your body feels. If there's any last pose or posture, movement, or stretch that you know your body really wants or needs this morning, take a moment to find that for yourself. But if you're ready, if you're good, and you want to just come to your Shavasana, set yourself up, put your socks on, put your sweater on, get your blanket, get yourself cozy. I feel a little sneeze coming on, so hopefully it won't find its way till me until long after we're done with our Shavasana. So once you've got yourself all cozy, you got your blanket, you got your sweater, get yourself into a nice, comfortable position that feels soft and supportive. Become aware of the floor beneath you, that nice solidness underneath you, and then notice that freedom above you. So you might notice the air on your skin, or just getting that sense of freedom to breathe upward. And then once you feel like you've got that sense of that solidness beneath you, that freedom above you, allow your shoulder heads to soften. Soften your toes. Soften the soles of your feet. Soften the tops of your feet and your ankles. Allow your heels to be heavy. Soften your calves and your shins. Soften your knees, your thighs. Let go of any gripping or tension that you're holding in your hips. Let your belly be soft. Let your ribs and your chest get nice and heavy into the ground. Let your arms be heavy and your fingers be soft. Soften the back of your neck. Soften your jaw. Soften your temples, soften your eyes. Soften the crown of your head and just let that last little wave of softness run all the way back down to your toes. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Come back to that awareness of the solid floor beneath you and the open space above you. Gently wake up your fingers. Gently wake up your toes. And then invite just a little bit more grand movement into the hands and the feet. So maybe think about crunching up the bottoms of your feet, curl your toes in, roll your fingers into some tight little fists. Just really get them moving in a nice, more energetic way than you normally do when you start to wake up. Really move your fingers, move your toes. And then once you feel like you've got your fingers and your toes nice and woken up, maybe add a little head turn side to side, and then start to invite some bigger movement in. Move your wrists, move your ankles, move your elbows, move your knees, move your hips, just invite some bigger movement into your body. And then if your legs were in constructive rest or in reclined cobbler's pose, maybe take a moment to walk your feet nice and long to the end of your mat, and then come to your good morning stretch. Reach through your toes, reach your arms up and overhead, stretch nice and long. Feel the tips of your fingers, feel the tips of your toes. Take a nice full breath in. Slow breath out. Keep reaching out through the fingers and your toes. Take one more big breath. Feel the breath in your ribs and your abdomen. And then as you exhale, soften everything. And then slowly and mindfully start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe you'll come up to Sukhasana with legs crossed, or any other seat that feels really nice in your body. Nice. And then as you come up, we're going to bring hands to the heart. But if you can, I have bare skin, so it's easy for me to say. But if you can get a little skin to skin contact. So if you've got like a shirt, maybe you can see if you can just tuck your hand underneath the collar of your shirt to just find that skin to skin contact. So we want to bring our hands onto our heart, stack the other hand on top, and then just kind of tune in. Feel the warmth of your chest, the warmth of your heart. Notice if your hands are warm or cool. There's no right or wrong, but just notice. Take a nice full inhale. Nice slow exhale. And then keeping our hands on top of the heart, we're going to push in just a little bit. So we want to trap the skin in the connective tissue, and then we're going to start to draw little circles. So we're drawing circles with the skin. So we're not dragging the hands across the skin, but actually moving the skin with the hands. So we're going to push in just a little bit to a comfortable position. So it should feel good, not hurtful. And as you push in, just gently draw your hands in circles, go in one direction. Feel that skin moving beneath you. Feel that connective tissue moving underneath your hands. One more circle in this direction, and then we're going to take those circles and draw them the other way. Lovely. One more circle around in this direction, and then let that come to stillness. Soften your elbows. Bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Take another nice big inhale, and as you exhale, think about letting your shoulders soften your jaw, and let go of anything you can that you don't need for the rest of the day. When you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Tuesday.